We're live now.
Okay.
We're
All
live
right.
when I say we're live. How
All
about
right. How about that?
while you munch on whatever that is you are putting in your mouth?
It's my apple slices. Yummy.
All right. While he's eating apple slices, I'll go ahead and start the show. It's Wednesday at 1 p.m. East Coast time, and for the very first time, well, we almost got it right at 1 o'clock. Couple of minutes, a little delayed. Not going to say who was the cause for that.
It was you. I don't know what you're talking about.
It wasn't me.
That's why you don't want to say.
This is Watching Amazon, folks. And who are you, sir?
John Colder Ice Lawson. What's
He is
up?
he is neither cold nor bold anymore. He's
Colder,
just John
Colder.
Lawson. It looks like you got some boulders in your mouth right now after all the stuff you keep feeding.
It's good. It's so good.
And speaking of good and so good, I'm Brent Leary. How about that?
And nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Welcome to another wacky Wednesday edition of Watching Amazon. I'm your host, Don Pardo. Anyway.
Man, damn. You got to upgrade your narratives.
What do I got to say?
I mean,
my name says it all. I don't need all the buildup. I don't need all the hubbub.
Yeah,
I don't need all the cold one.
You need something, bro. How's your week been?
Maybe I need some apple slices. I don't know.
Dude, your life will change.
All right. Speaking of life-changing events, this is Watching Amazon. I say for the third time already. All right. So, you, over the last couple of weeks, maybe it's due to the sheltering in place, you start each one of these hours kind of humdrum, kind of.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, come on. Yes.
Oh, come on. What do you mean?
I mean exactly what I said.
Okay.
You come on. I don't know, man.
I know.
Something. I don't know if I got anything to say.
I'm always excited.
Yeah, but today I do see a sparkle in the colder ice eye.
Yep.
So let's put the sparkle in your eye in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of all the stuff that's going on.
Well, I mean, this is Watching Amazon, and at least this week we got something I'm watching.
No. Well, I'm glad that you joined me, this week in Watching Amazon.
Exactly. And
right,
feels better.
Don't hold out on us. What's got the sparkle in your eye?
No, I mean, basically, it feels like Amazon is finally catching up to, they're finding their stride finally. And
okay, well, why? What has made you think that they've rebounded a bit? Because before the last couple of weeks, you've been like, you said that they feel like something's off. They're not kicking on all cylinders. They don't seem to be on top of it like they usually are. But this week seems different. Why?
Well, for one, they're hiring more people.
75,000 more.
Right. They've opened up pretty much all of the categories again for inbound shipping.
So y'all sellers can now get back to selling.
To some degree, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of backlog that's going to go on, but at least the switch has been flipped so that you can bring stuff more into the warehouses.
That's good. Sounds positive.
And I guess some of the things we will talk about today, one of them, of course, if you want to go into that, was that they are limiting the number of, they won't take any more new
grocery customers.
Right.
So it sounds like to me, like you said, they've gotten their footing and they're starting to not just feel like they are on the back foot trying to catch it. Maybe they've gotten on both feet solidly and are starting to get back to how they typically operate.
We hope so. I want to see Amazon succeed, and that would be part of their success, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So,
yeah, absolutely, man.
So let's just say, you're right. I mean, it's pretty obvious that things haven't been operating the way that we are used to Amazon operating, at least. And from a general standpoint, you could say that about anything right now, but we'll focus on what we talk about watching Amazon.
Right.
Now, in hindsight, because it's only been a couple of weeks of this, 4 weeks,
3-4 weeks. It's more than a couple. It's a few.
All right, let's say this. So it's been 3 to 4 weeks of nonstop action towards the negative side with all the things that have been going on with people getting sick, and I saw a stat that talked about just how many net new people. I think it's like 33% or maybe it's 40% of people shopping for groceries online had never done it before the month of March.
Yeah.
So this tidal wave of new online grocery shoppers hit at all at one time. Just took not just Amazon. I think it's impacted everybody, but it's also impacted, the food supply. And I just saw this thing yesterday where, you saw where I think it's Richfield, the pork processing plant in North Dakota or South Dakota. They got people that had the virus, in the processing plant, so they're going to shut down for 2 weeks. And then you see all these stories like there's these dairies that are throwing out all this milk that they can't get to the market because there's like this there's a 2-channel system of food, the supply chain for food. One that's built for delivering to consumers, and one that's built for delivering to, like businesses, like restaurants and markets.
Oh, okay.
And so,
business
because there's nobody eating in any restaurant right now,
they got an overstock.
They're not getting the orders that they typically get from the restaurants, and because the process of getting food to a restaurant is different from getting food to the consumer channel, that food that's sitting there that's usually bought and distributed to the restaurants doesn't have anywhere to go. And that's why you're seeing all these milk getting thrown out, and these farms are plowing under these crops that they had because there's just nowhere for it to go. And then you flip the equation of that with people in these lines that are thousands of people long at the food bank because they don't have any food and they don't have any money to pay for it. And these food banks are saying, well, gosh, how do we get more food into our channel so that we can help the individual consumer? So it's like all these systems are jacked up.
It's called capitalism. It doesn't work so well with socialism.
Well, but it also means that there are processes. I mean, like the packaging, the way that packaging is done for restaurant food is totally different than going to the market and pulling it off the shelf. And all of these differences have just combined to make this a big mess. And I say all this because Amazon is a part of this overall ecosystem, and they are also getting hammered because they can't do much of anything outside of the current environments of these supply chains for restaurants. So they can't they can't really do a whole lot with that, and they can't transition that food over into the consumer food kind of process. So all of that adds up to a big mess. Now, given all of that, have our expectations been too high for Amazon to be able to do what they usually do in a time like this?
I mean, I think you asked this question last week, and I was still like, I just expect Amazon to do what Amazon does. I don't think my expectation is too high. No.
Okay, I just wanted to double check because
I don't see that being too high. I want you to do what you say you're going to do. Is that too high? Maybe. In this day and age, maybe.
okay, I just wanted to check. Just wanted to check to see if you know all this additional information about how all of the supply chains for the different kinds of food delivery is being completely disrupted, and you can't just take from here what's meant to go here without delays and confusion reigning supreme.
It's an opportunity for a middleman.
All right.
If somebody's listening,
we're going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to pose another question. I'm going to pose another question to you, but before we do that, you posted something about that I thought you were going to bring up too, about lawsuits.
I brought up about lawsuits.
Yes,
lawsuits.
You know what lawsuit we're talking about.
Well, the deal is, guys, I was reading this story, and let me see if I can find it on watching this page. Oh, darn. That does not work.
Amazon lawsuit over a $10 billion Pentagon contract lays out disturbing allegations against the resident of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah, and I mean, not just disturbing, they were saying that they are possibly impeachable, which doesn't
Don't
really
get me
matter.
started on that.
I mean, you know, even if you say the I word. However, the lawsuit is very interesting in terms of how much he possibly put his finger on the scale, and where they were literally ready to award this to AWS, a big U-turn, and there's no underlying reason other than honestly.
Wait a minute, but he told us at the time that people were telling him that he needed to look into this. That people, not personal internal feelings, people were telling him he had to look out for what this is going on. How is this working? So you told me that's not the case?
Well, I mean, are you being funny?
No.
I think you're being funny.
I'm shocked.
The thing was, I mean, you know, it didn't take Donald Trump at all to make this decision. This is supposed to be a decision based on merit, and that is part of the process. And for the process to go suddenly south against the AWS as the contractor we all knew it was like, here we go.
Well, we knew exactly what was going to happen as soon as he said what he said. All right, we knew it.
But now that the paperwork is being submitted to the judge is reviewing this stuff, and it looks like it's pretty rock solid in terms of the case against the president.
Where have we heard this before?
Right.
Where have we heard like the case looks rock solid against the president?
Right. Well, but I mean, again, it's not against the president. It's about the process. So
that's what you say.
Well, I mean,
that's not how it's interpreted at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm just saying.
Right. But I'm saying the outcome, what could that be, is what I'm wondering. It's like, okay, if a judge finds that this was not a fair process, does the process happen again? Do they end up splitting the contract? Do they have to award it to Amazon? I don't understand what the outcome Amazon is looking for would be. Do you?
Well, I know what they want it to be. I mean,
right.
I don't know what they're expecting it to be at this point, because let's face it, when the top person is the one that's killing you or trying to kill you, that's tough.
It's
which
tough.
Kind of bleeds into this other. By the way, do you know Meredith Crosby?
Yeah.
You should say hi to her, because she's
hi,
listening she does some housework.
She does some what?
She says she's listening while she does
her housework.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yay. Awesome. So we're talking about Amazon. That's what this one is all about.
Yes. Now, let's kind of pick up on that theme of Amazon and current resident of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue kind of being in dispute, because that's not just the only dispute that seems to be cropping up between the two. Let's talk about the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh, man.
The current resident of where, he's been really hard on the Postal Service, to the point where it seems like he does not want to include them in these stimulus packages.
Which, I don't get completely. I don't know how do you, and let's just unpack it a little bit.
Go ahead, unpack it.
I get it. He has a very good point in terms of the United States Postal Service has been losing money and has been mismanaged for years. But
there are reasons for some of that.
Whatever the reason.
Sending as many packages, as many letters as they had to pass.
Yeah, but that's since when? 1999? Come on. What are we talking about?
This isn't a recent, just a solely recent thing. The rise of digital has meant we're sending less paychecks, although there's going to be supposedly some paychecks coming
But
around.
I'm just saying, nothing's new here.
Nothing's new, but there is, I guess it's not new, but it's the combination of a time that has just built up a bigger and bigger shortfall because of less people sending letters, means that the people that are delivering those letters, those lesser letters, are still getting paid the same amount of money, and their benefits, their health benefits are costing more and more every year. So when you have salaries changed, salaries are going up. It's not that it's changed, but every year it gets worse.
Okay.
Every year those people, I think they do.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying that because of digital, because of we do digital payments, we pay our bills online, all the things that used to actually have to be delivered, like not only were the bills delivered to our house, then we would put a check in a letter and put it back in the mailbox, and they would then deliver that. That is pretty much all been wiped away. That's
not new.
I'm not saying it's new, but I'm saying every year it gets worse and worse. And
so we got to deal with it.
So one of the things that happened was, like, Amazon said, hey, we know you've got a lot of people that are still, delivering, and all those people are delivering less. So since they are delivering less and we've got more stuff for you to deliver, why don't we make a deal? We will, send you our packages for you to deliver to our customers. And that brought in more money than they would have brought in otherwise. So when you think about it, Amazon is like tossed a bone.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago too.
What's that?
That was a long time ago too.
That was a long time ago, but still,
Amazon has really reduced their dependency on the United States Postal Service. So my point is that if he thinks that this is going to somehow crush Amazon, no, you're just going to refuel and make Amazon stronger with their own package.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He blamed Amazon for he said Amazon and other companies like that.
Right.
He was blaming them for the downfall when it was not them for the down. They were actually helping. It wasn't.
I don't know if they were helping. They were taking advantage of an already.
Of course they were, but even when they're taking advantage of it, that means that there was some benefit to the Postal Service. They had folks that weren't delivering as many packages Now they're delivering more packages and bringing in revenue when they weren't going to be bringing in any revenue, but still on salary and having benefits that had to be paid. So they would have been worse off. If
I don't know about
that. I know about this.
I mean, they're losing money on every package that they deliver for Amazon. Period.
But they're bringing in more revenue that they didn't have before, and they would have still been out there.
Makes it worse, doesn't it?
I'm saying that made it a reason not to blame Amazon, because Amazon was already, like you said, they took advantage of a situation that fit them, but it also brought revenue into the United States Postal Service that they would have not gotten anywhere else.
I mean, I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I'm not on the fence.
I'm definitely on the fence.
Now, when he kills Amazon for the fate of the United States Postal Service, I think that is a downright false narrative, because Amazon did not need them. They got a good deal, and they made a good deal for themselves, but that deal did bring in revenue. But like you're saying now, Amazon has built up its own capacity to deliver stuff, and now that's starting to be siphoned away from that deal. So guess what? The losses become bigger now, because now they're not delivering as many Amazon packages.
So let me ask you a question.
They're not bringing in as much revenue.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did Amazon help Borders?
Yeah, they helped them right into bankruptcy and out of business.
They did the same thing with the United States Postal Service.
They didn't help them out of business. They would have been out of business or even bigger debt without Amazon.
The Amazon footprint and the knife in the back is the exact same.
I don't see it as a knife in the back.
Well, okay, fine. You already said you don't think that.
It may have been
my point on it.
It may have been a temporary stay, but go ahead.
I'm telling you, they've done it with Borders. They've done it with Toys R Us. They've done it with anybody that they get in business with. They model they get in, they learn the system, they model after it, and then they create their own. And they've done the exact same thing with their package delivery. It absolutely helped to push forward fulfillment by Amazon and their what do they call their delivery? I can't remember. But their delivery service was definitely helped by their partnering with the United States Postal Service. Simple and plain. I'm telling you, they stole I'm not going to say stole. They borrowed some of the methodologies and they implemented that into their own service. And now the thing that they, quote, helped is about to go out of business.
Okay, so I'm not going to say you're wrong about any of that, but I have to ask the question. Did they pay the U.S. Postal Service revenue while all that was going on that they would have not gotten from anywhere else?
I'm saying, of course, yeah, absolutely. They paid it revenue.
So how did that put them out of business then?
Because it was negative.
Wouldn't they have been out of business before if Amazon didn't pay them this money to learn their system?
I don't know. See, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because see, it's like going down a drain. The closer you get to the drain, the faster it spins. And I think Amazon putting so much into it made it spin faster, which is made it like it didn't flatten the curve. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? So because I mean, I think that's what we're talking about. I think you're saying, did it flatten the curve? They were going to go where they're going, but did Amazon help to mellow it out? And I actually think Amazon might have helped to accelerate it.
I don't think so, but I will say this: the model of how Amazon operates, totally. We saw it with Borders, we saw it with Toys R Us, we saw it with a couple of them, where they're willing to provide you money or expertise in return for expertise and insight, and at some point it gets overrun. But that didn't necessarily.
I get what you're saying. It was a bad business to begin with.
It was a bad business to begin with, and the United States Postal Service didn't do anything to improve their lot as Amazon came in and learned.
Right. Because I think they were so overwhelmed with the Amazon part, and it felt like you were doing, going to get ramped up and it was going to be better. But I think what really ended up happening is that Amazon took over so much of the package delivery in general with fulfillment by Amazon that even though they cut Amazon a sweetheart deal for delivering their packages, as Amazon's packages grew and grew and grew, it hurt.
And I think that's because Amazon was a customer of the United States Postal Service. They didn't own the United States Postal Service. They couldn't make them make changes that would be more fitting for the Amazon delivery need. So Amazon built their own custom delivery system because based on their actual needs, not to fit in with what the U.S. Postal Service was doing. So they extended, the opportunity for the U.S. Postal Service to exist, I think.
And I'm sure they sat down at that table.
What?
I'm sure Amazon sat down at that table knowing damn good and well that they were building their own package delivery system.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Promises to the United States Postal Service that this would be a longer term relationship. And
it's still ongoing, so it's not like they cut the ties, but when you look at the last couple of years with what Amazon has done, they move faster than any government agency could possibly move. So the United States Postal Service, there is no way that they could keep up with the customer expectations that Amazon has to deal with. And if they couldn't, then you can't really blame Amazon for saying, okay, well, we wanted to work with you long term, but damn it, we just got to move faster.
So let's go back to
the ability to do that.
Let's go back to the original question now. The original question really is about there is no funding, or they don't want it. He doesn't want any funding for them in the stimulus package.
Right.
And I think your premise is that you think that's going to be a dig at Amazon, and he thinks that would be a way to get back at it, which would backfire massively because guess who's going to start delivering your mail?
Well, yeah.
Amazon.
Well, and let's kind of like a judo flip kind of thing, judo chop here.
Right.
What's the biggest problem with the U.S. Postal Service business model right now?
They don't charge enough for single mail delivery.
There's a lot of competition.
No, there's no competition.
Let me finish.
I'm going to just tell you, I think you're not correct.
Well, let me at least get it out first.
This right here.
Right.
This is a monopoly. There is no competition.
Right. But that's not a growth business for shipping in general. Those little envelope things, no. Packages, yes. And what the U.S. Postal Service has is, this is just the way I see it. It's not a negative or positive thing. It's their employees have great benefits compared to, other shipping employees, and they have great salaries with great benefits. And the longer they stay, they accrue even more of those great benefits. And when they retire with a certain amount of time, they get great retirement benefits compared to what was out there right now. And so those employees are way more expensive for the U.S. Postal Service than Amazon hiring or FedEx hiring employees to do the exact same kind of job, but they're not getting anywhere near the benefits that the folks that work for the U.S. Postal Service get.
Dude, it's a dying business model. I mean, like I said, this is what the United States Postal Service was good at. This is a dying business.
Delivering that kind of stuff.
That period. They've always had competition for packages.
Right.
UPS and FedEx have always done better package service. At some point, the United States Postal Service thought that they could possibly compete and take over some of that business. That has not worked out for them, and that's why they're dying. Because
Amazon
their actual model.
Amazon Prime. I wish there was a chart that we could go back to, like Amazon Prime started being offered in 2005, where you could get 2-day delivery for things that could weigh 1,000 pounds. The U.S. Postal Service could never do that. Never.
They weren't made to do that. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not. I'm just saying that's why they can never do that. They weren't made to do that.
They're not made to do that.
Right. So, but Amazon built a service that is just for that, and so the U.S. Postal Service could never compete with Amazon from that perspective. Not on a cost basis. So he may want to think this is going to hurt Amazon. I think what he wanted to do is he wanted to say that I made the Postal Service a real business again, profitable again, and try to force companies to pay some crazy amount. And they're like, look, we can do it our own. And the only people that are going to get hurt by this are the postal employees. And more dramatic,
they're overpaid anyway.
Yeah, but let's put it like this. Those are good jobs.
They were.
They're good government jobs.
They're good government.
And I'm going to go a step further and say why I don't want to see those jobs go away. A percentage of those jobs, government jobs, have always been a higher percentage of Black folks employed at those kind of jobs, which are good benefit jobs. So if those jobs go away, that means disproportionately black folks are gonna lose some of their better paying jobs that traditionally they've been a part of.
And older folks are going to lose their mail,
and people are going to lose, and rural folks out, in the middle of America.
All of that plays in. There's a whole lot here that is a problem with the United States Postal Service,
right?
Right. I think packages, honestly, is the least of their problem. That was an area that they could possibly gain some footing in. But I mean, prior to 2000 really, there wasn't that much package delivery like there is today. So that was a new thing for them to try to get a foothold in.
That's why I said I would love to see some kind of a chart.
Right.
From 2005, when Prime got rolled out to now, to see just what has happened by way of package delivery.
But I would think if you extrapolate that all the way out, you would think that FedEx and UPS would really be the ones hurting the most because that's all they do. So I don't know.
But they may be hurting the most, but they were better positioned to compete with Amazon than the postal services.
The postal service aren't supposed to be competing with Amazon because they have a sweetheart deal. That's where they got screwed. All of a sudden, their deal is no good anymore. Now you want us to compete with you.
Their deal was good at the time, before, because once again, Amazon's shipping arm was built to Amazon's needs, not to fit into what the Postal Service did the best. They used, to me, it was just, hey, let's do this for a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years.
But we need to build something that is going to be capable for our capabilities, what our customers expect. And our customers expect us to deliver a 500-pound item to their front door in 2 days. Can the U.S. Postal Service do that? Of course not.
Man, so they don't even like pulling our boxes out of the truck. They hate it.
Amazon built for something completely different than what the Postal Service had been built.
The Postal Service was built to do what?
To go out of business in the 20th century.
To deliver this.
That we don't use it. We don't do those anymore.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just
that's what I said.
There's no saving that.
What they were good at.
Yeah,
there's no saving that much anymore.
There's no saving that. Actually, they should have went with that old school put a nickel on the email thing that they used to mail around all the time.
Remember how we used to get mad every year the cost of a stamp would go up.
Yeah.
It just got annoying. But they were trying to save their employees.
Yeah. I mean, but that's, but again, that's the other problem. See, that's why I wanted to put that out there, is that under a pound, nobody can deliver a package cheaper under a pound than the United States Postal Service. They have no competition.
Right.
It's a monopoly.
They had all the infrastructure. They had all the people in
No,
place.
it's a monopoly. You literally can't. Literally, there's some kind of golden rule that you can't even compete at under a pound. Seriously.
Okay.
None of the providers give you an option for under a pound. Matter of fact,
they're not allowed to.
They're not allowed to. Something about it is that they're not allowed to. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's written, but it gives the United States Postal Service a monopoly under a pound. Their problem to me really was that the writing was on the wall about this under a pound stuff. They shuffled the chairs around on the deck. So they really at the first, they overpriced the 2 pound and up stuff. Then the competition got bad there. So they had to overprice the 1 pound and under stuff. And today, I mean, they've added tracking, right? And they charge exuberant amounts of tracking. If your envelope is over 3/4 of an inch thick, then they charge it as a package. So it can go from something that would be like 55 cents to $1.60 or $1.80, $2. These guys have done everything to screw up their business model, honestly. Instead of making me want to do more 1 pound business with them, I'm trying to figure out how to sell 2 items to everybody so it'll go over a pound.
Or I'll just raise the rate, on something that is still really a letter. Whereas Amazon is like, yeah, you want to buy that 1,500 pound item and have it here in 2 days?
Yeah, same price.
There it is.
Same price.
And that's why I said I would love to see some kind of chart that looked at what happened before Prime and after Prime.
Dude,
for this stuff.
The United States Postal Service has different boxes that cost different price. They called it a flat rate box, and it gets this big. If you get it this big, I mean, they've got so much. I mean, you can tell it's a government-run organization.
Ain't nobody got time for all that. Nobody.
For that.
We don't care about the damn box.
I know. It's too complicated, man. They just screwed themselves.
So if he thinks this is some kind of gonna make Amazon hurt, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Sorry.
The only people that are gonna hurt really are the unfortunate
employees
that are gonna lose a job. If they don't fund it, it's dead. I mean,
but you know what? I just can't see the Congress, because that's what I was about to say. At this time of our lives, when we're stuck inside, you can't cut the mail off.
No, especially like the heartland, the middle America
would get hurt.
They get hurt the most.
They would get hurt the most. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, so here's the last thing I want to talk about.
You've made me so happy. I came in excited.
Now you're not.
No, you're depressing me.
All right. Well, here's one. Maybe it'll be less depressing. That's my job, is to make things less depressing.
Okay, well, go for it.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Here's something I've been thinking about for a while, as we go through current situation, and we had the shortage of all these different things that we need, like
toilet paper.
Health professionals need PPE.
Oh, okay.
People need masks and gloves and but also, let's say toilet paper, things that have to be manufactured. And a lot of the things that have to be manufactured are manufactured in China or other places. So, and when the chips are down, when things are bad and things need to be made, you can't make them here, which is a shame. I call that everybody spent so much time focused on the last mile. We have completely given up the first mile, which is making things in this country. So is it time? Yeah, there it is. So is it time for AMS, Amazon Manufacturing Services? Or is it time for them to put some of those fulfillment center, some space in those fulfillment centers and create little manufacturing centers, not just for building their own stuff, but for allowing people to send in designs and manufacturing, charts and schemes and things, and to have these things built.
I mean, there are. I mean, they're already doing that with soft goods. I mean, that's books with Amazon. That's merch by Amazon.
No, we need real stuff, not just.
But I'm just saying. I mean,
stuff. We need things that we don't have to go outside the country to have built.
Well, I mean, let's get to 3D printing then.
I'm all for. I think they have a lot of footprint all over the country for distribution and fulfillment centers. Can we carve out some space, or do they need to buy some additional space?
Well, they would have to buy
some manufacturing centers that allow people to be able to get stuff built right here and not have to go. I mean, does this pandemic tells us one thing is we got to have stuff close by. We ought to have certain abilities in the country to be able to do. And at times,
my thing is, and I don't know, maybe this will be something. And I think, unfortunately, what's coming out of this coronavirus and being locked down is we understand that our dependency, really, to me, on big box retailers like Amazon or Walmart is a good and it's a double-edged sword, because, like you say, being dependent on China is a problem because everything's over there, nothing local. I think also having if we had our mom and pop shops still up that Walmart has put out of business or that Amazon has put out of business, I think we would have been better prepared to handle the needs of the individual shoppers. The fact that we have to congregate so many people at a Walmart just to get toilet paper when we used to have bodegas, and small mom and pop grocers on every street corner is a problem.
It's a problem, but wouldn't it still be a problem when we have these things like a pandemic where it's a surge of demand coming all at once?
Yeah, but they're not going to the one store. Do you know? I mean, when they built this Walmart by us, so many stores went out of business. So many. Kroger's moved. Target's moved. We had a Cub Foods. It moved back in the day, right? So I'm just saying, I mean, like, these Walmart supercenters put a lot of small business out of business.
But the way I see it is, okay, you could either buy it from a Walmart or buy it from mom and pop. I'm talking about the ability to create it and sell it, which I think we don't have that ability to create it when we need to. Like, we don't have the capacity to create enough masks. You hear about all these shortages. It's not about selling the mask. It's about going to get a mask. It's about having the mask available to be bought to begin with.
I get it. So let's put it like this. If Amazon didn't allow Chinese masks to come from China and be here, we would already have more people producing masks in the United States. We have enough people and skill to do this production.
Right.
We need those retailers to purchase from those here in America. I don't need Amazon to build a new warehouse and put more slave labor in there. I think we need corporations like that to support small businesses that are doing that work already.
I just say we need. Oh, and I'm not saying. I don't know if we're saying anything different, but I guess maybe what I'm saying is
we
need manufacturing capacity. I don't care who owns it. I just want it here in the States.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
And if it's easier,
if Amazon owns it, it's going to be full of slave labor.
I have no idea if that's the case. But all I'm just saying is, to order to scale, you need, big capacity. Small mom and pops, they don't do scale well. They do custom well. They don't do scale well. If a big,
when I say small mom and pop, I'm saying just like, well, let's just keep it to the people that manufacture and make masks.
Okay.
All right. Or not even masks, because I read the story. All right. So there's a business that makes respirators. Okay. They're a vacuum. I remember they're like a vacuum cleaning company, and they have the capacity to make respirators. Easy. They could flip it over, make respirators. The last time when we had H1N1, they flipped their business around because of the loss or the need, the immediate need. They flipped their business around, made these respirators. People ordered from them, but as soon as the need was over, they went back to ordering and this is hospitals. These were hospitals that were ordering from them, right? As soon as it was over, the hospitals went back to ordering from China, and they were left with, they had ramped up all these people. They employed a whole lot of people, and then they ended up having to lay those people off, forcing them, of course, to pay unemployment insurance, and it almost put them into bankruptcy. I'm saying that is kind of what we need to support. When I say mom and pop, I'm not saying, just mom and pop. I'm saying small and medium businesses that we have that can manufacture and do that kind of work for our country. It did it before. It could do it again. The problem is China. It's not, we don't need Amazon to do this. We have a problem with China. We need to work that problem out.
The problem with China is because China will do it for about a fraction of what it would traditionally cost here to manufacture. And that's why you saw all these companies sending all their manufacturing needs there, because it was just cheaper. I mean, that's the bottom. It's cheaper to build it and ship it than it was to build it here.
Right.
That was the biggest problem.
The problem's not Amazon build some more warehouses. They're not going to even be there. They won't even be interested in doing this.
You don't know. I mean, if they're able to do like they've done before, let's take the example of Amazon Web Services. All that started out as them building capacity for themselves. And then because they, at their peak, they had X amount of capacity they needed, but most of the time they weren't at their peak. So they had all this additional capacity that they could offer. And that's how Amazon Web Services got bought. What about, taking the same kind of principle and putting it to manufacturing? They have stuff that they're building on their own. They can start, offering a manufacturing.
I don't like
web service.
I just don't like it. And I guess it's because I'm a small business guy. I support small business owners. I want more small business. Small business employs more people. I just think that.
I guess what I'm saying is, if a small business came up with a great design and got that design patented or copyright or whatever, but they don't have the capacity to manufacture it, so they turn to Amazon and say, all right, take my design and make 500 units of it. Give me what the price is, and then I can sell it on my own. I can sell it on my Amazon store. But it's not Amazon.
I don't want that kind of power in Amazon. No, hell no. I'm already over Amazon. Everything's centralized in one location under Jeff Bezos. I don't know. Hell
you could get your product made. You own the design. You own, whatever it is from the standpoint of what's the intellectual property. You just need it built. You don't want to.
Yes, that would be great. That'd be wonderful for people that have ideas. If you could go to an Amazon merch factory that does actual product
They just create it for you. You own the IP.
That'd be great.
That's what I'm saying. But the manufacturing capability is in.
But do I want Amazon to take over making PPE? No.
No, what I was saying is I want some mass scalable capacity to manufacture things. I'm not saying Amazon is the owner of the things. I'm just saying Amazon could potentially provide that capability like they provide web services.
Yeah,
to companies.
They could provide the space. They could provide the machinery.
You send us the scheme or whatever they call that thing, the blueprint, and we create it, to that spec. We create 500 of those for you. You pay us the money for that as you pay as you go, like AWS.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's what I'm saying. Is it time for AMS? I said, is it time for AMS? About 20 minutes ago. I think it's something that they should be thinking about. After this,
already be, probably.
I would not be surprised if they roll it out at some point.
Me either.
Because it makes too much sense. It's part of the supply chain. It's part of the first mile, last mile. It all fits, and it's something that's really needed. We need to be building stuff here.
Yeah, we need to be building stuff here. We will be building stuff. And I told somebody the other day, I said, we need to be building stuff in North America. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to all be here in, just the United States, but between the United States, Canada, and Mexico, we really should get our shit together so that we're not looking all for everything from China or India or anywhere else.
We're looking like I don't know, a fifth world country when we have to rely on all these other countries for necessities.
Supply our basic needs, dude.
Yeah, that's not the way it should be. Not in the richest country in the world.
But I mean, we've made our lifestyle about consumers. We're consumers. We don't produce, we consume. And that's what we are. And that's our, that's our MO now. And it's going to take some change to change back to being producers. We used to be producers.
I think we still are producers of digital stuff, but not of actual hard stuff.
Somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that. I think there's a lot of innovation. I think there's a lot of creativity. But when it comes to actually creating or building stuff, people don't want to. Let's face it, a lot of people don't want to do that because it's looked at as drudgery. It's not looked at as the exciting part of business.
But, if you think about it, that's what Alibaba's there for, a lot of it. You can find people to manufacture your product by looking at products that are similar, getting in touch with them, and asking them if they can make. So they've got a lot of manufacturing factories. That's what the factories are in China. And we can't compete with that right now. We'd have to build that infrastructure. Can Amazon build that infrastructure? That's your question.
They can definitely build it. And I think it's something that once they have built it, if something happens and they are offering it like they do AWS, like I said, Amazon Manufacturing Services, at a time like this, they will have built the capacity. They could say, look, all right, we're like they did the third-party sales. Don't send in anything that's not essential. They could say to third-party manufacturers, don't give us any orders for things that aren't essential. We want things that are going to be, masks, gloves, whatever. You got a design for that, and you can, send it in, and we'll make it for you. But it's got to be that.
I'll tell you, man, it's a lot.
It is, and I think we do. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a risky thing that we seem to be turning to Amazon a lot.
So somebody wrote something, says, John, you can't say no to Amazon and not give alternative options to Amazon, though. So Brenna's saying that the alternative needs to be end-to-end in the United States, which, Shay, I totally agree. I'm just saying that when I say no to Amazon, I'm simply saying that the capacity is already here. It's already working. Amazon, to me, a faster track would be supporting what's already working as opposed to building a whole new infrastructure to make it work. That's the only no I have on that.
And I would say Shay is a very smart person.
Mm-hmm. She is.
Yes.
She's been deceived by a very deceptive person.
She has not. But no, I just say we need to have capacity here.
We definitely need to have capacity.
At a scale that goes beyond most individual kind of organizations. That's what and that's why I'm saying Amazon. Because it's watching Amazon, of course, I'm going to talk about Amazon. But it doesn't have to be Amazon. It could be,
it could be
Walmart. It could be somebody. It could be a small consortium of companies that have the ability to offer capacity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Amazon has proven that they've done it with AWS. I think they could do it with AMS. And I think that is something that I hope they're already working on, because if we had something like that at the beginning of this pandemic thing, things may have turned out differently.
And we're really just talking about something that could actually turn on at scale.
Yeah.
on the flip of a dime, man.
And its scale
and SMBs definitely could not do that.
Yeah, but it's scale and also being able to have organized organization, because let's face it, that's what's hurting us now with we don't have a federal response to all that's going on, and the feds should be there to coordinate.
Man, can we not?
I'm not going to go there, but that's why I'm saying maybe this is why an Amazon manufacturing services thing could work.
Right, but another thing is too, I think you make me think about the point that it shouldn't be a federal thing at all either. See, that's the thing too. It's like there's some things that you support and you do better at than to bring it in-house and do it.
But all right, I don't want to get into the broader discussion, but when things happen all over the country at scale, that's when you should have some sort of overarching thing that can coordinate, and because every state is focused on the state.
Yep.
Which makes a lot of sense. But when everything is going around on all 50 states, that's when you should have
some
federal government come in and coordinate.
Absolutely. That's what we agree on that.
Well, we better end it like that.
Why?
Because how often does that happen?
I know that's a high. All right.
I like. Well, Shane, thanks for the comment, Meredith. I hope you got done your housework while you listen to us.
I hope you stuck around.
Stick
around.
Whatever. You said it, not me.
But that was good. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
All right. Oh, look, I agree, Shay. I agree. It shouldn't be a government created thing, but it should be a government supported
thing. Yeah, we need a government. Yeah, I think so too. It's going to take something that big to just get it greased up.
Yeah, it's got to be coordinated, all that stuff. All right. Well, that was a good one.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
And I appreciate you. Did I say that?
No, don't even say that. Just go on.
I can't front like that.
That's a little hard, right?
It was very hard.
Okay. It's obvious. It's obvious stuff. It's obvious.
Yeah, okay. And on that note, folks, this is Watching Amazon for this week. We will be back next week.
1 o'clock Wednesday. Next week, 1 o'clock Wednesday.
We hope to see you then.
Later, guys.
Have a good week. Good night and good luck. Yeah.